Yeah, let's definitely talk about Ethan Klein a little bit. Only natural after discussing Hasan, who at this point barely ever talks about Ethan, if at all. But Ethan can't shut the fuck up about Hasan, in addition to his beef with the Taylor Lorenz, another completely one-sided beef that he loves to drone on about endlessly. But yeah, apparently, Ethan spent Thanksgiving malding.
Yeah, it was a real clown show over at the Decline household. I would never feel bad for Ethan, but if I was going to feel bad for Ethan, it would be during a time like this. You're a father, you have multiple children. You should be spending time with them. You should be cooking with your family. You should be making memories, and instead you're melting down about your ex best friend that you used to co-host a show with, who has long moved on. And it really just gives guy who can't get over it behavior sprinkled in a little bit of racism. So Ethan is always kind of in a perpetual state of jealousy when it comes to Hasan. And Hasan recently went and did an awesome stream through China, met with a bunch of folks, and kind of continued what a lot of Twitch streamers have been doing recently, which is normalizing just going to China and being cool as an American with Chinese people, right? We have so much xenophobia baked into our country, our media system, a lot of fear of the Chinese government. And there's been a big concerted effort for people to go over there and just be like, yeah, there's also just a ton of normal Chinese people, just like we're normal American people over here. And they have a bunch of cool shit like faster trains, taller skyscrapers, way more fucking people than we do, and just doing that kind of cool, normal stuff. But leave it to Ethan Klein to find some sort of reason to bitch and moan about it.
Yeah, yeah, he's been making a lot out of this China thing. I haven't seen this specific one. I watched part of his video yesterday trying to attack Hasan for like defending the Chinese government or something, but I haven't seen this one.
Sweet. Yeah. He accuses some of Hasan's friends of being embedded with the Chinese Communist Party.
Let's end it.
No, and also I want to show the Hasan doing the. I have to show him singing the old like Maoist.
Was that real?
Yeah, it's real.
天上太陽放入紅彤彤味，閃着你太陽是毛色的味。
He's doing a China tour and he's singing like this old propaganda pro Maoist song, and he's with a bunch of CCP people. The Chinese government definitely honeypotted the fuck out of him. He's surrounded by like CCP agents who are all like young, beautiful women at all times. It's crazy business.
Like it's so funny. You don't think a beautiful, very famous man like Hasan Piker might just be hanging out with other people who are streamers who happen to be very attractive. They have to be embedded honeypots from the Chinese Communist Party. Every accusation is a confession from Ethan Klein.
Yeah, I mean, it's total projection. His wife was literally an Israeli honeypot who they set him up with during his like birthright trip to Israel. Like, I'm not even kidding. That is literally the origin story of their relationship, which apparently is actually an incredibly common tactic that the Israeli government uses to lure American citizens to come live there after said birthright trip. After they set you up with a nice Israeli chick, it's a little bit harder to go home, right? You're like, I think I found a new home here. So that's exactly what happened to Ethan. Obviously, they did end up moving back to America, but still, that is, I'm not even joking. It's not a fucking conspiracy. It's what fucking happened. He's even talked about it, essentially. So, yeah, total cringe. There's no proof that these people are like CCP agents or whatever. And like, obviously, I don't agree with a lot of what the Chinese government is doing. I haven't been intently watching Hasan's coverage of China, but I imagine that he agrees that there are like issues with Chinese society that are like, it's not a perfect utopia. I don't really think that's the point of his coverage of China. But again, I haven't been focusing on it super specifically. I haven't watched a lot of his travel coverage. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot of countries that I think it's totally fine to vlog while you're traveling through that are like have a bad government. Like, for example, I'm not a big fan of Modi. The Indian government is pretty authoritarian. I think it would be fine if someone made a travel vlog going through India, talking about the people and the food and the culture. Like, it's fine.
Oh yeah, it would be crazy if somebody did it on a train ride someday. That would be super nuts. But yeah, I totally agree, right? No, obviously this isn't like a broader political conversation outside of the fact that you can see infrastructurally, China is far more advanced and developed than the United States. I don't think you have to be a fucking Chinese propagandist to say that. I think anybody with eyes, right? And it's not just political Twitch streamers that are going over there and discovering it. I Show Speed went over there and everybody was like, wow, this is crazy. Just a normal guy going over there and hanging out with Chinese people. And I think it's really necessary because of the way that Ethan portrays it right here. He acts like it's somehow suspect to just go over to this country, China, and engage with other people who make live streaming content and, make Instagram or whatever the Chinese equivalent of Instagram. TikTok is their, big thing over there also. And to hang out with these people and just be normal and be like, oh, I'm from America, you're from China. Like, what do we have in common? That used to be a very reasonable thing to do. It was considered, right? But he has to come out here and act like there's some weird political motivation. It kind of reminds me of when like Billy Joel went to Russia in the 80s and it was like, I'll play my fucking music here. I don't give a shit. Like, you guys are fans of mine and I'll fucking perform for you, to try and like normalize and create like building a bridge between American people and Russian people. I don't think there's anything wrong with that kind of a deal.
Until you go into the grocery store and start showing off the low prices of the groceries. But I mean, that's the thing. It's like, and again, I haven't been following the Hasan China thing that much. I'm really actually pretty ignorant to it, so I'm not trying to like speak out of my ass or whatever. If this trip was like set up, like sponsored by the Chinese government, and if they like paid Hasan to go on it, yeah, I do think that would be like low-key problematic in a similar way that we criticize comedians for being paid by Saudi Arabia to go like sanitize the reality of their society and stuff like that. But I don't think that's the case with Hasan. I don't think he was like paid to do
he
this.
paid for it all himself.
Yeah, it's not like they sponsored him or whatever. So, I mean, maybe he made a few comments here or there that I wouldn't agree with. I'm not saying I agree with Hasan on literally everything. Maybe his take on the Chinese government is slightly more positive than mine, admittedly. But still, if he did this on his own accord with his own money, and not like under direction from CCP or whatever Ethan is implying with no evidence, then yeah, I don't see the problem.
Yeah, and I think it's also hilarious because Ethan is always coming out here and being like, you guys never want to talk about just the normal people in Tel Aviv. You guys never want to talk about how there's just plenty of like good, cool people that are hanging out in Tel Aviv and nobody will ever go over there and just talk to these real regular Israelis. As that government is literally perpetuating a genocide, right? In full broad daylight, starving Palestinians. When you go over there and you're spending your tax dollars, you're literally, spending money perpetuating the, ethnic cleansing of our time. So I thought it was very odd that he has a complete double standard for China. Now, you could, again, as Gavin mentioned, make the case that China's up to no good, make the case America's up to no good. But I think we've all globally decided, like, hey, what Israel is up to right now, like, you cannot financially support in any capacity at all. People in Palestine have said, hey, please do not come and spend your money here. This is a organized tactic, right? And there's nothing like that going on in China. This is just one battle after another, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm not really sure what's going on with the internet. Maybe there was like maybe the cold weather froze the internet cables or something.
It did rain a lot yesterday and freeze, so I'm curious if that had something to do with it, but it also was fucking up the other day. So it is raining right now also. Could have something to do with it.
Yeah, I don't know. But either way, I guess we can try to watch the rest of this if we can.
Oh yeah, we can.
Sweet.
Girl right here?
Yeah.
No. That's Carolyn Kwan.
No, it's not. It doesn't look like her. Oh, that is right. That is. See, this is your Gloria CCP. Glory to fucking Chinese Communist Party.
I live in New York. I was raised in the DMV in Maryland. I'm Vietnamese and white ethnically. Do you guys see that thing where Ethan Klein was saying that all the girls in the group for the China trip were honeypot Chinese spies? And we're there to like honeypot Hasan or like the men in the group, and that we're all Chinese spies. And I'm just like, bro, the most brain dead shit I've ever seen in my life.
And that's the lady that was there with them all on the bus. So
yeah, no, that's actually the Chinese Ghislaine Maxwell. She's getting intel and dirt on Hasan, following her orders from the Chinese government to spy on and collect as much compromat as possible. Like what even is the fucking conspiracy theory? I don't like what are the fucking spies doing with Hasan? Like I just don't. It seems pretty dumb to me. What a weird.
Yeah, I think it really boils down to he's really triggered and pissed off that people have been able to call his wife a honeypot, and so he's been desperate to be like, see, look, Hassan's a honeypot. Everybody's wife is a honeypot. When you go out with a woman, what else would she want from you besides your money and political affiliations? Come on, guys. What else? I mean, let's be honest here. It's all honeypots. It's just a weird cope and projection. And if you can believe it, Gavin, this was only one of a myriad of meltdowns that Ethan Klein continued to have over the holiday weekend about Hasan Piker and others.
Yeah, it also just seems like just vaguely racist as fuck, to be honest. Like, oh, here's a video of like Hasan like speaking in Chinese. Let's laugh at it, or like, who gives a fuck? Like, if I went to France and I was, feeling myself and on camera streaming, I might be like, oui, 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 bonjour, monsieur, time to eat a baguette. Just having fun, like, kind of soaking in the vibe of the culture. What, like, who gives a fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? It only looks funny or whatever because it's like Chinese, and it's just like, okay, who gives a fuck, bro? Like, again, imagine if he was in any other country, no one would really care.
No, exactly. It's racist as shit, and that was the main reason I pulled it. Right, was because again, as Gavin said, if it were any other country, nobody would care, and it really does kind of go back to that like old school, kind of racism that we don't even see too much in this country, which is just like making fun of the Chinese language. Like we think back to something like 16 Candles and a character like Long Duck Dong, and it's like a bygone era of America where you could just be like out and out racist against Chinese people. In fact, it wasn't until I read Eddie Wong's memoir, Fresh Off the Boat, that even I had like a firm grasp on just how fucking racist Americans were towards Chinese people. And yeah, Ethan just seems to have, apparently forgotten that it's 2025, not 1965, and nobody wants to hear him just do like, racist dog whistles like that.
Yeah. That being said, this one is kind of funny. I see this up on screen. Ethan apparently posted this on his Instagram story and said, "Why is Steven Crowder with Kaya?" And that does kind of look like Steven Crowder. Like, obviously it's Hasan, but that is kind of funny. Because this one, at least this one is like funny. It doesn't just seem like he's malding. It's just like, okay, a joke. All right, I can laugh at that. It doesn't seem too bitter. But yeah, it is still weird for Ethan to just be posting this much about fucking Hasan on his Instagram stories. Like, I'm sure some people in our chat follow me on Instagram. Whenever I post shit on my stories, it's like me at the movies, or like look at this delicious meal I'm about to eat, or like a nice shot I got of a building out in the downtown Kansas City, or like something like that. Like, you don't see me posting about like Jane Huger and Anna Kasparian and like, Ethan Klein and like all the people we talk about on our show. Like, when I'm out in my life enjoying my fucking day, posting on my fucking Instagram story, it's not about individuals we have beef with or like former colleagues of ours. It's so weird, even though this one is kind of funny, like I said.
Yeah, he's so desperate to keep the collar gate faking, whatever phony outrage that they were trying to get going alive, because Ethan gets the most engagement when he is live talking shit on Hasan Piker. He even went live over the Thanksgiving period. I don't think it was on Thanksgiving proper, to talk shit about Hasan. We've got another one. I'll zoom in here. If it's hard to see, there we go. Real journalism in action, folks. And it's just this weird shot at Taylor Lorenz, who's talking about how she worked in retail for 9 years. I didn't even stop working retail after I started in media because I was so broke. I was still working at a clothing store on the UES part-time. Ethan is a multimillionaire YouTuber who hasn't had to work a day in his life. And so for some reason, he just screenshots this and puts real journalism in action. This is after he posted a video saying that Taylor Lorenz hasn't had to work a day in her life. So just weird, petty bullshit. It looks
like she's just clearing her name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she's responding to a false information that Ethan Klein spread. And she's like, actually, this is true. I did do that. It's not like she's not fucking Kamala Harris pretending to have worked at McDonald's. Like, yeah, I actually do believe that. Yeah, Taylor Lorenz probably had a retail job for 9 years. What's so hard to believe about that? Like, okay, why are you even like questioning that? Who fucking cares?
Yeah, it would be like if we were like, oh yeah, we both worked at the movie theater, and you guys were like, no, you didn't. You guys have never worked in a movie theater. And be like, why would I lie about that? That is such an unflattering thing to lie about. Like, why you never delivered pizza for Sarpino's? That's a lie. It's like, why would I lie about that? Like, it would be a crazy thing to lie about. Like working in retail, like that would be such odd stolen valor. But there's another doozy. He decided to post this where he puts an image of Taylor Lorenz saying our culture is not a costume by the people of
Tyler Lorenz go as a fucking like Best Buy employee for Halloween or something? What is even the point of this?
I think it was as a reference to her saying that she was an actual working class person and Ethan wasn't, because she fired back and said,
yeah, no shit, I'm dumb. That's obviously.
But he, the reality is that it just makes Ethan look like an out of touch rich douchebag, right? Because a lot of people on Thanksgiving do have to go work at fucking Walmart, you twat. A lot of people do have to go work at FedEx. They have to go get ready for the Black Friday sales at Kohl's, at fucking Target, at wherever people go, at the mall, at the Grove in Los Angeles, wherever the fuck you have people shop for you, Ethan, at stores I haven't heard of and brands I can't pronounce probably. But yeah, just weird and out of touch boomer meme right here that I also screen grabbed, because I was just like, what the fuck, dude? Spend time with your family on Thanksgiving. Like, can you imagine being a grown ass dude? Like, you already said you would never do this, and you don't have children. You don't have a family, a wife. Well, you have like a family, but not like, of your own offspring. You know what I mean? It would be here and be like, I'm going to battle with, Mike from PA today. You know what I mean? It would just be crazy.
Yeah. Definitely weird. And again, like if there was some proof that Taylor Lorenz lied about this, I guess it would be funny, but he's just like smearing her. Like there's no proof. He's just assuming she lied for some reason.
Yeah, which is very odd, but not out of character.
Having a normal job, like working at a retail job or whatever, like doesn't mean you're like dirt poor. Like tons of just normal, like middle class people have a job that like in retail or like something normal like that. It doesn't mean she was saying that she was a fucking homeless person for 9 years.
Yeah, it's just very odd. It's very odd. And also, again, I just can't get over how like out of touch rich asshole vibes are coming, how intense they are emanating from Ethan and his Bel Air mansion as he chooses to spend his holiday like this.
Yeah.
Then we get to this one. He calls out friend of the show, Francesca Fiorentini, which I was like, what the hell is going on? I didn't expect this. So guys, I have to, give a little bit of a secret away. I do follow Ethan Klein on Instagram, but it's only so that you don't have to, right? I keep an eye on, just when he's really losing it. And this is a random clip from the Bituation Room. Unfortunately, I can't play it for you guys because his Instagram story has expired, but in it, they're joking around. And this woman on the right, who I'm not super familiar with, says it's kind of like when Ethan Klein admitted on air that his wife is a terrorist, and he clipped that portion of it and put it up on his Instagram with this caption saying, anyone else remember that? Me neither. Fuck you, scumbag. Nothing is more virtuous than privileged and comfortable Americans criticizing people born into troubled circumstances and forced to make impossible choices to survive. The only dilemma this piece of shit has faced in her life is if she should settle for mat leave or wait for something better, which I thought was just completely uncalled for. And it's not even Francesca that says the thing he's mad about in this clip. It's her guest. And then, of course, the idea that somebody born into Tel Aviv of immense privilege, like his wife, was born into a troubled circumstance is totally laughable.
Yeah, I don't even know why he decided to post about this. It just seems just random and petty, and like you have nothing better to do than post about people that shit talked you like weeks or months ago on their personal show, even though they're not connected to you, they're not your colleague or anything. Very weird. Again, like I'm sure I could search for Vanguard hate content and like find a few weird videos from channels we don't associate with or people we don't know. I'm not going to start posting about it on my fucking Instagram story. Like that's just a crazy thing to do.
100%. And then last but not least, we hear about Hasan Piker once again. And this is crazy, guys. I'm looking right now to see if it's still on his Instagram so that you guys can watch it. I think it's expired, unfortunately, very recently. But in this clip, Jank and Anna are doing what I would consider to be a very old school TYT style clip. Basically, there was a controversy where a bunch of frat bros were sharing a poor woman or poor student nudes all around campus, and it was one of those early discussions where it's like, how do you prosecute this? People are sharing these these graphic sexual images of a woman without her consent, yada yada yada. And then it comfortably cuts to Hasan, who Jank refers to as their frat correspondent, and he says, I would never do that. Nobody in my frat would ever do that. And then he kind of chuckles awkwardly, and Ethan decides to pull this completely out of nowhere and say, I have never shared nude photos of other people, never once tempted to. Once someone showed me his girlfriend naked, and I told him that was weird and not to do it again. Hasan and his uncle are perverts. Hasan has a long track record of quote unquote accidentally sharing nudes with everyone around him. He does it on purpose. There's no evidence for that. And I imagine the best evidence Ethan can muster is this clip where Hasan vehemently denies that him or anyone in his fraternity at Rutgers would ever do something like that.
Yeah. And I mean, like, even if he has, like, I'm sorry, but I don't really give that much of a fuck. Like, is it a good thing to do? No. But do I judge like who I fucking get my news from, like based on some stupid shit that happened when they were in a fraternity, like sharing a nude of a girlfriend or something? Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry, I don't. And I would say the same thing if the roles were reversed, and if some sorority chick shared a nude photo of Hasan with her sorority sister. Like, again, it's not a good thing to do. I'm not approving of it. But I'm not gonna sit here and be like, this man cannot be allowed in polite society. Like, again, who gives a fuck? It's a stupid thing to pearl clutch about.
Yeah, and it also, to me, just kind of falls under the I'm projecting category. This power minimal guy says, I never share nudes, but this guy, it kind of does make it seem like you're trying to cover your own tracks, and you're like, this guy, he really shares nudes. And again, it's like, I'm sure that a beautiful man like Hasan Piker, who has millions of dollars at his disposal, is not really having to hound his buddies to get access to their spank banks.
Yeah. Also, I don't think anyone sends Ethan Klein nudes, nor probably ever has, and no one wants to see your fucking wife naked, bro. Sorry. Like, no wonder you haven't shared those ones. Sorry, but I'm just saying, bro. So either way, again, not that it's a good thing at all, but I'm just like, yeah, I don't really care that much. I don't think it's like, like who gives a fuck,
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I had when it comes to that story. Somebody in chat was saying that the reason we're having internet problems is because of solar flares that are going on right now. Will somebody who is smart in our chat tell me if that was a troll and I fell for it, or if there's a real solar storm? Somebody was like, calm down, you guys, it's a solar storm, and that's why all internet is laggy. I do know that solar flares can impact electronics, I think. But I would be curious if that was the real reason.
Solar flares, I mean, potentially they could totally wipe out the internet if there was a solar flare large enough or big enough or whatever. Like, it could literally just completely take out the whole internet, which could, like, basically plunge the world into chaos. I mean, think about if every single hospital went offline. Think about if all of, like, Wall Street and all of the financial centers went offline. Like, yeah, a sun flare actually could totally fuck the world and all of society, at least momentarily. But I don't know if that's actually what's happening right now.